Hey everyone, welcome back to Cincinnati Zoo Tales. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Mark. Thanks to everyone out there for tuning into another episode. Jenna, we got to start this episode and just address the elephant in the room. We've been lucky to have many visitors and many guests of the non-human kind animals come into the show over the years. I think we've got our cutest animal.
Are you going to say
today.
that out loud? I was wondering.
How can I not right now? Every animal that comes into this room is the cutest animal we've ever had, but this is actually the cutest animal we've ever had.
We're not going to be very great hosts today. We're very distracted by our very special teeny tiny guest.
Yeah, so we're being joined by two keepers who work on our animal ambassador team.
They're
Sarah.
super cute too. They're
great. They're great. I swear. We're being joined by Sammie Villa and Sarah Paese. We know you all are extremely busy, especially with our little baby that we have with us today. So thank you all for taking the time out of your day. And thanks for bringing Marshmallow to join us as well.
We're happy to. He's happy too.
Yeah. Marshmallow, the baby skunk, is here right now. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We're freaking out.
Yes.
Me and Jen are not focused at all. So.
My face already does hurt from smiling, and we've been with him for like 10 minutes. So yes, thank you guys for being here and putting up with our distractions today.
For sure. So we are going to hear all about Marshmallow's journey, kind of everything you guys have been through. Your team has been through a lot with him. There's been some hard times, and luckily right now we're kind of hopefully past all that, and we're kind of in some good moments now with Marshmallow. Yeah. But first off, I know that you guys are both returning guests, so thanks again for coming back to see us. Would you just share a little bit about, your journey to get to the zoo and then your role here on the Animal Ambassador team?
You go first.
Okay. I had jobs all over the country. I did environmental education. I did field work. Then I did bird show, and then I was a full-time keeper and led the training in a bird department before coming here. And then was a full-time keeper with the Animal Ambassador team when I started here, and then moved up to head keeper of the team with Sammie here. So it's been a fun journey.
A little bit all over the place.
Yep, yeah. All over the place. It's been birds from the beginning. Those are my first ambassadors I worked with, bird training and all of that, and this is the most mammal work I've gotten to do.
Do you still lean towards birds if you had to pick?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're my favorite.
You say that in Marshmallow's presence.
I know.
Do you have we're not going to talk a whole lot about birds today, but I can't resist asking you about birds. Do you have a favorite bird on the Animal Ambassador team you work with?
That's hard. I could name 3.
Okay.
Tippy the crow, Blue, the Vanderdeckens hornbill, and then Zulu, the Lady Ross's Taraco.
The Taraco. The Taracos are so pretty.
They're
just the most gorgeous birds.
Yeah, they are my favorite.
We hear the crow all the time.
Yeah, you do.
An alarm call in the morning.
Wants you to know we are walking
each morning.
Yeah, that's Tippy.
Sammie, how about you? Will you share your story with us?
Yeah, my story was a little more linear. I did wildlife rehab for 10 years before coming to the zoo. So I went to Kent State, degree in zoology, had to have an internship during that, found a wildlife rehab center called Back to the Wild up in the Sandusky, Cleveland-y area. Okay. And had my internship there, was hired afterward, and was out there ever since. So I kind of worked my way up from intern to managing the center for the last 5 years before I left for the Cincinnati Zoo.
Nice. I'm sure as a rehab center, you have plenty of good days, plenty of bad days. It's a lot of work. I always respect the people who do rehab work because there's so much on your plate at all times.
It's never ending. It's kind of a constant demand of your time and attention, which is necessary for the job that it is. It's hard though. It's difficult to be sustainable for a longer period of time. So I made the move over here. I wanted to work with ambassadors more, as much as I love the rehab part of it. Raising these guys is one of my favorite things to do. So the fact that our team is such a big part in our SSPs and breeding ambassadors is still fixing that little itch that I have for that part that I miss doing.
I was going to say, I bet in rehab you've worked with skunks before.
Many.
And she was giggling a little bit through her answer because he was stomping and being a little tough, tiny
He's
skunk,
a very tough guy. Yeah.
cracking us up. But we wanted to talk about skunks specifically during October. Oh my gosh, you guys. I wish I could show you. We'll take some videos.
This needs to be a live stream.
We can, yes, this should be a live stream podcast. But, you know, throughout October, it's the best month of the year, and we are talking about some not so spooky animals. And unfortunately, I mean, if you looked at this little guy for 1 second, I don't know how you could ever think that skunks were spooky or creepy or gross or any of the things that they probably get labeled. I don't know if you guys have heard certain words being used with them, but I'm sure a lot of people, unfortunately, if they saw a skunk in their backyard or something, they would not necessarily appreciate it like they should. So we wanted to highlight why skunks are amazing and the very cool things about them. But first, Marshmallow has like a really unique story. So would you guys want to start off by telling us a little bit about Marshmallow, why he's on the ambassador team, like why he's allowed to be here with us today for the podcast and how he got here?
Well, what do we want to start with?
Yeah.
We have his, like, parents' life story, and then we
Right.
have his little life story. Do you want to
Take
do
it
the
from
parents
top.
and
Yeah.
origins of
Take it
life?
from
Yeah. Yeah, so his mom is Lily, who is our all-star skunk ambassador with our animal ambassador team. She was part of the 2023 litter that was shown on social media. We carried around because it was the first time we completely revamped the socialization plan for the baby skunks. We attempted co-rearing with mom for the very first time. So Lily's mom, Knox, had 4 kits, and Knox is a very nervous skunk. So in the past, when they've lived with her, they have developed some nerves. And so we wanted to figure out a way that they could still be raised by her, but we could reduce some of that nerve that they just developed living with her. So we figured out a way to, when she came out of the nest box to eat her meals, we would scoop them and get them used to just being in hand, and then we'd return them before she got back to the box. And we did that for weeks. They don't open their eyes until about 4 weeks, so they just got used to being in hand. We had the other ambassador teams and then spread it out further in the zoo to hold them and get them used to all different smells, sounds, all of that. We'd extend the time a little bit longer, and we would take 2 of the kits with us on like a little trip around the zoo while the other 2 stayed with Knox. And basically just made sure we didn't cause Knox any stress, but we got the babies desensitized to more than they ever had before.
Which is such a tough balance to strike, I'm sure.
Huge, yeah. It took a lot of effort, but it paid off. Lily is incredible. Domino is in the barnyard show, so 2 of those 4 kits are still here at the zoo. And that led us to this year, Lily being the mom. We wanted to see if we had a mom we tried to co-rear with who was not nervous around people, how that worked, and would she actually like bring the kids up to us. So we had this whole plan kind of drawn up of the differences we wanted to see, and it was just going to be a learning experience. And it still was a learning experience, just not the one we planned.
Yes,
And that takes us to him.
Dun, 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 to part 2. Yeah, his start to life was kind of crazy. So we were all on birth watch. We had cameras on Lily, and we're watching kind of how she was progressing in her birth, and we noticed that she was starting to have some signs of labor at like around 2 a.m. So we're watching the cameras. Everything, looked normal. She wasn't in distress or anything, just typical, you're a pregnant animal about to give birth.
Uncomfortable. But
Uncomfortable.
Nothing alarming, but nothing.
Yeah, switching all her positions around in her nest box, trying to get comfy. And around 9:30 in the morning, we noticed that a kit was starting to push down through her birth canal. It can take anywhere from a couple hours to like 4 or 5 hours for each kit to pass through. So we gave it until around 11 a.m. and started noticing that we didn't like the positioning of the kit. We finally saw a foot poke out, and then we saw a tail poke out, and there wasn't a lot of movement after that. So we called vets, and public safety came with our escort, and we went down to the hospital with Lily and did an ultrasound on her to see what the positioning of all the kits were in her and to see what was going on with the one that was trying to push its way out. it was kind of stuck in her birth canal. So it was a little crazy. I held Lily while our vet, Dr. Mike, had hands on the baby that was coming out of her. And through Lily pushing, me holding her, and Dr. Mike pulling the kit out, we were able to get the baby out. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to get it out on her own because it was a breached positioning. So the first kit came out, and unfortunately it had passed away in the birth canal. So Lily did her job great, though. She rebounded, was getting ready to push the other one out. Positioning still showed that it was breached, so we did give her some oxytocin, help get that baby moving in there. And it ended up starting to come out again. We again didn't really like the positioning, so we were helping and did the same procedure over again. Held Mama while she pushed, and Dr. Mike pulled. Got the second baby out, and unfortunately it was deceased as well, which means it was probably not alive in the womb either. So then after that, we kind of had a decision to make because the two first ones didn't go well, and we knew she had one more in there. Our very first ultrasound we did with Lily showed that maybe there were 4 kits in there. Every other one we did up until like a couple days before she ended up giving birth showed 3. So we thought there was one more baby to come out. So we kind of made a really hard decision to do a C-section on Lily. We are very attached to Lily, so it was tough to make that call, but we knew that it was best for her and for hopefully getting one of the kids out successfully. So we did a C-section, and lo and behold, there were 2 babies in there. So there was another one. So thankfully we made that call because we wouldn't have known that until after the fact with an ultrasound. So we were glad we went that route, but unfortunately the other one in there was deceased as well. And it took almost 20 minutes of work to get little Marshmallow here revived out of the womb. So he finally started breathing, though, and then we started working right away on being his mom because Lily was recovering from a C-section. So thankfully she recovered very, very well, and she recovered very quickly. But we can't make assumptions for her, but for an animal who is not birthing that baby on their own, they're going under, having a surgery, coming out of that surgery, they're not recognizing that baby is theirs. So unfortunately, Lily, also being a first-time mom and never having babies of her own, just didn't take to the baby. We tried for a while, and unfortunately never really took to him. So we took on hand rearing him. I was here that day from 2 in the morning till 5 a.m. the next day because he had to be fed overnight because she was not feeding him, obviously. So we got him from hour 1 and had him ever since then. his little life has felt so long. He's really only 7 weeks old.
Wait, I was going to say, what
all
is his
happened in
birthday?
7 weeks.
What is his birthday?
The 25th of July.
Wow,
Okay.
and he is
Or 26th of July, I think.
tiny still that it just is hard to believe that he is 7 weeks old.
It's kind of crazy the difference between hand-reared animals and mama-raised animals. There's so much that we've gotten to with making formulas and formulating them correctly for the animals that need them, but it's still not the same as mom's milk.
Of course,
so
yes.
He's starting to have some growth spurts now, though.
Oh, good.
Oh my gosh, it's precious.
Did he take to the bottle right away? Like, was that a struggle
That
at
night
all?
was trying. It always is, though. They never really want to. They don't get the good stuff right away. You gotta hydrate them and wean them onto it so their belly doesn't hurt. But once he was starting to get that fuller formula, he was happy, and to this day is a little glutton. So
You guys, he's on his back in Sarah's hands, chewing on his own back foot right now. Just unbelievably cute. I'm sure you guys feel so close to him, and he means so much to you. And I know Lily didn't necessarily take to him right away, but is she aggressive towards him? Could they spend time together and let him learn how to be skunk as well as human?
We've been trying. We actually just yesterday introed with Knox again, which is his grandmother.
Okay.
Lily still kind of had the same attitude when they were introduced, kind of indifferent, not really wanting an interaction. Knox, on the other hand, has raised a lot of babies on her own, has that motherly instinct already ingrained so deeply into her. So she was perfect with him.
Aww.
He had an attitude with her.
Oh, bad boy.
Stomping, trying to bite at her feet. We've done a couple intros so far, and it's gotten better every time.
Okay.
So as he gets older, he's going to be great. They have 2 more skunks at Children's Zoo that they're hoping that they can intermingle too. So that is a really integral part of what we want to do for him to set him up for success. But he's imprinted. He associates humans as his own kind. So he has to learn that skunks are what he is and something safe to be around.
I'm glad you brought that up, but he also definitely has skunk, what's the right word? Like, behaviors.
Like mannerisms.
Yes, he knows that
Those
he should put his instincts, yes, tail up, his little stomps, the backing. Oh my gosh, he's adorable, but that is the issue with hand raising, right? That was part of the thing we went through with Fiona. Like, we wanted to make sure she still saw hippos, could hear them, smell them, be in the same building as them. And you hope for the best. Like, you don't choose to hand raise animals, and it's always better if they can know their own species. But in a zoo situation, especially in an ambassador situation, it's amazing if they are comfortable around humans as well, of course. So hopefully he'll have the best of both worlds, huh?
Yes.
And I gotta say, I'm sure your experience from the rehab world was integral throughout this process, being around it, being able to kind of adjust and go with the flow, get him onto a bottle, because that can be such a tricky thing at first. How often, what's his feeding schedule like now? How often is he eating?
So actually, just today, he was knocked down to 2-time-a-day formula feeds.
Oh, no.
He is very upset about
I was
it.
gonna say, 2 times? That doesn't seem like enough to me.
He's write a complaint.
Yeah. What did he pay you?
He's still getting a 3rd feed in the day of solids. We've got to start getting him on those solids. But at first it was 6 feeds a day. Or was it more than that? It was every 2 hours from 6 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. So actually that's way more than 6 feeds.
10, yeah. 10
it was
feeds in a
intense.
day.
Wow. And then you just slowly, as they gain weight, of course, decrease those feeds, increase the amount per feed and stuff like that. So
what kind of solids is he working on to now?
He's getting some cat food and a big variety of veggies and some produce. He had his first mealworms yesterday.
Oh, yummy.
He ate them without, he stole it from Knox.
I'm about to leave the room and go grab some
Stealing
mealworms
from
for him.
grandmother.
They cut your bottle feeds? They give you mealworms?
It's like, tell me about it.
Yeah.
So can you, we've talked about it before, but can you tell everyone, kind of what you imagine his role being, why ambassador animals are important here at the zoo, and, what he will probably be doing in the future?
Yeah, he is slated to go to Children's Zoo and be in the Barnyard Show, but in general, our team and Children's Zoo, they are excited to talk about just native wildlife and the importance of it. It's the same thing we hit with Lily and our opossums and stuff like that. They get that reputation for being stinky, and people see them and immediately have a negative reaction because they likely have had a negative experience. And we can't fault people for that if they have had a person or a dog or something sprayed. It is certainly not fun to deal with that. But we try our best to educate people on why that would happen. They're just trying to defend themselves, it is not an immediate reaction. They would not choose to get a little spooked and then spray. It's if they feel like they need to do so to survive. So although it is not a treat to clean up the stink of skunk, we still hope that people will understand why it would have happened and the level of stress or fear they would have felt to do that. Just like we do talk about with our snakes and stuff, none of these animals are going out looking to scare people or mess with people. They don't have ill intention or anything. If they are doing the stuff that they have the negative reputation for, it's to protect themselves. So.
I've never even been lucky enough to see a wild skunk alive. Yeah. So they're not out there like trying to come towards humans or cause any issues. It's if you happen to run into them in the wrong spot where they feel cornered, and you know, I'm sure. But on that note, maybe you guys can tell us a little bit about skunks, their, you know, natural history, what they would eat in the wild, that sort of thing.
Sure. Skunks are little scavengers. So they'll eat whatever they can. They will definitely go through your trash if it's open and they can get into it. They're not the best climbers, so it's not like an opossum or raccoon or a bear or something that can open your lid. But if you leave trash out, they'll get into it. If you feed cats or something outside, they'll also get into that. It's like a buffet for them. But they're just scavenging around for carrion, you know, that you don't want to have to see on the side of the road or in your backyard.
Cleaning up
eating
diseases.
grubs and tons of diseases. If you have skunks that are in your yard, it means you have a lot of grubs and things underground. So they're real rutting around for that. And really whatever else they can find out there. But they're native to our area. They're native to most of the United States. There's spotted skunks more in like the western part of the United States. But
He's a striped skunk? Is that
this is striped skunk. Yeah, so they're native. They're around. If you're in an urban area, they're there. You maybe are smelling them a little bit, but not always seeing them. But they're there right alongside of us, and also obviously thrive in areas where humans aren't too. But they are scavengers, so able to live right around us very easily.
And what is their lifespan like?
Oh, on the shorter side. What do you think? Like mid-teens would be really old.
Would be really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had a couple pass around 8 to 10, and they were healthy. It just
I wouldn't even have
That's
guessed
older
teens.
than I would've
I
guessed.
thought, I thought it was
Out
6
in
or
the
7.
wild, they'd be really lucky to live even just a couple years or so, just because they're dealing with us. So
Yes,
cars
all the traffic and
So they must reach
people
maturity
and
pretty
things.
quickly then.
They do.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
1 year old, they can be breeding.
1 year old, so that explains Lily then.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
such a
and she
young
skipped
girl.
her first year. She bred it too.
And how many kits do they typically have?
Like 4 to 6.
Okay.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Zoo is part of a 3 zoo like cohort that are working to get striped skunk breeding and ambassadors out to people who are wanting to educate with them. And Cheyenne Mountain, I think for the 2nd year in a row, had 8 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that Glacier's litter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Last year, and I
wild.
think this year they had 8 again, and they might have had 2 females that had 8. I would want to fact check it, but crazy.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
Knox has
wild.
had 4. Knox has had 4 and 3 and 4, I believe.
And how long is their gestation?
60 to 70 days.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
Pretty short then, just a couple months. I think you
Yes.
mentioned in the wild they're going to be nocturnal. Do you guys notice a difference in their behavior here? Obviously, we're not here overnight. Well, most of the time, I should say, Sammy, we're not here overnight. But do you guys notice a difference in their behavior here?
A little bit, yeah, definitely. Seasonality wise too, and then just like being up during the day versus not. I think a lot of our animals here though, they get accustomed to our schedules, and it's just like us, you know, where people can work different shifts and still, you know, get through it. But they're definitely a little more hunkered down during the day. Around feeding times, they know those times.
Yeah.
They make sure they're up
For sure.
then. But yeah, active at night in their enclosures, and
They love their den boxes during the day. They'll snooze real hard. But they do have little exercise wheels, and they like to use.
Oh, I would love to
Aw.
see Marshmallow on an exercise
Yeah.
wheel.
Oh my
you should
goodness.
see his dad on his exercise
Who
wheel.
is his dad? I don't know if we've
Glacier.
mentioned- Oh,
so,
Glacier. Okay.
Yeah, one of the kids from the really big litter.
Okay.
From the other year.
I don't think I've ever seen him here at the zoo.
He just started doing programming a couple months ago.
Okay.
We
Okay.
started taking him out for programming. Hillary on our team is his primary, and actually is getting him harness trained. So you
Oh,
might see him
fun.
on walks throughout the zoo.
Yeah, he is a big skunk, and he is almost more white than black with his
Oh, cool.
coloring.
Oh,
So
Hence
he's
the
very
name.
unique. Yeah, he's very unique looking. And Marshmallow's little white knee pads and knee pads and elbow pads that's Glacier. And his this fluff. It looks like he got a blowout. That's
does, yeah.
Glacier. Lily is pretty smoothed out, and Glacier looks like he has been freshly blow dried.
So, how how much does Glacier weigh? How much does the average skunk weigh? And can you tell us how big Marshmallow is right now?
Okay, well, I can tell you how big Marshmallow is now. I weighed him this morning. He is 228 grams.
You guys, 500 grams is 1 pound, right? Like, that he is not even half a pound.
He's so small.
Literally fits in the palm of your hand.
Yes. It's his favorite spot, too.
Yeah. And then his mom is around 1,600 grams. And Glacier is somewhere between 2,500, 2,700.
Okay.
And you said he's a big skunk,
That's
right?
the
He's a
largest
big male.
skunk
Okay.
we've had.
So,
Yeah.
5-ish pounds.
Yeah, our last male, the top of his range in winter was 2,500. So the fact that that's just median or average for Glacier is pretty crazy. So it's going to be really interesting to see both with his being raised on formula, parents, one very small, one very large. Truly no idea what he's going to look like as an adult.
Because Knox's babies kind of ran the gamut. So
Yeah.
Knox, his grandma, Lily's mom, was with Spud, our older skunk who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. But he was large too, not as big as Glacier like you were just saying, but like large.
Yeah.
And Lily was the smallest out of that litter. And then they were going to different places, so we nicknamed her Big Lady.
She was the biggest.
A big girl, and she was big, and the other two were right in the middle. So it's kind of interesting too, the size differences.
Yeah, Lily and Domino, the two that stayed, were the two smallest.
He's so cute. So we mentioned a lot of people do. Sorry, we got distracted for a second.
I'm distracted this whole
A lot of
episode.
people do not appreciate skunks like they should, and I'm sure you guys have heard all sorts of comments about skunks over the years or times. And I know Mark has some things that you would like them to tell us whether or not they are true or false. But before we do
Yes.
that, do you guys have any, like, do you typically get like positive comments when you have skunks out with the public here at the zoo, or what sort of things do you guys hear on the spooky theme of this podcast?
I mean, 95%, I think, are positive comments.
Good.
Of people just saying, "Oh my God, how cute!
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen one. Oh, I had one of those that sprayed my dog." Not in like a horrible way, but like just
It
they know
happens
that's
kinda
what
way,
skunks
yeah.
do way. It's been very few comments,
Good.
thankfully.
Yeah, and we are quick to try to help shift that perspective. Every once in a while when we walk by with our obos or skunks and we hear someone say, "Ew," it's not even against the... I'm like, yeah, you just looked in his face and you said that? Like, just from a personality. Look at him. Yeah, don't you want to learn more about him? So sometimes there's just that immediate instinct for people.
For sure.
But it's always nice having conversations and getting people to just understand a little bit better.
Yeah, and you guys are the perfect people for it. And it's to actually see one in person and, be able to interact with one. It can completely change your mind and
Yes,
change the way you
100%.
feel about it. Yeah.
That's why we're so passionate about the natives on our team, because they are animals that people can interact with out in the wild and sometimes not in good ways. So it's the best way that we can help those
Oh
animals.
yeah, that was, I can't remember if we actually got to that answer, but his role here will be to educate people and
Absolutely.
help break the stigma.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, he's got an important role. So I do have a couple myths that I've found on some research online. I'm hoping you guys can either tell me, that's actually not a myth, it's true, or you can say that's a myth, debunk it.
All right.
So, Sarah, you actually touched on this as we were talking, but the first myth I found is that skunks are very aggressive and they attack without warning. What?
Marshmallow, calm
That's
down.
Marshmallow comes after you. Oh my god.
Myth.
He is so precious. I can't get over
Attack
him.
anything if you really want. No, he
I
couldn't.
can't say I can't imagine him hurting a fly. Like maybe a
Yes.
mealworm, but not a fly.
Yes. Yeah, skunks are naturally going to flee and hide. They would not choose to engage with any human or dog or pet if they...
Unless they feel trapped, right?
Yep, they would want to be out of there.
And correct me if I'm wrong, don't they even sometimes they'll do a little dance or a little stand before they even spray sometimes as a warning, get away or else kind of thing.
Yeah, these guys, they'll stand their tail straight up behind them so they look about 3 or 4 times their height. I believe it's the spotted skunks that do like the handstand
Those are
dance
so cool to
thing. But both have the same purpose, which is just to look big and scary. And I mean, you guys have gotten to see him put his tail up at just the reaction.
He just scared himself
Yes,
and
tripped on a bounce. So yeah, that instinct to look big is there. It just doesn't work for him to look scary.
Myth 1 debunked then.
Yep.
All right, next one we've got is that their spray is toxic and it can be really harmful to people.
It's not necessarily toxic. No, that's a myth. If it goes into your eyes, though, it doesn't feel good. For sure, you should go to the ER and get your eyes flushed if it's like really in your eyes. And I've actually had a bunch of great horned owls come in through rehab that have been sprayed in the face, like directly by a skunk. They're one of the only predators to skunks out there. So we get in a couple every year that were sprayed directly in the face while they were going down to catch them. And they were lucky to live through those situations because they're so blinded by it that they can't clean themselves up well enough without intervention usually in order to survive. So usually by the time people find them, they're like pretty emaciated from not being able to hunt for their food, and we have to do the fun job of giving them baths and getting them cleaned up from that. So it's not toxic at all. It's not fun, but if you get it directly in the eyes,
Just watch your eyes.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know if this is part of one of your questions, but what is the best way to clean them up? Like what, you hear tomato juice, you're
This is
baking
one of my
soda.
questions.
only do
Yeah, I've heard
that
all
if
kinds
you
of
want to
stuff.
smell like a skunk and tomato juice.
So what do you
The tomato juice doesn't work then. It doesn't work.
what do you
Debunked.
for owls, or what would you suggest if somebody's dog got sprayed?
Yeah, what the best solution has been that we've found to tell people is Dawn dish soap, hydrogen peroxide, and maybe some baking soda in a mix, and then you put that all over your dog, let it sit, it'll absorb some of those smells, and then wash it off of them, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and eventually it will always still linger, but not be as bad.
Wow.
It at least reduces it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. But no tomato soup.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that. Or tomato juice. I've heard that so many times.
Yeah, these poor owls, like no one's there to give them a tomato soup back.
All right, next one we have is that all skunks carry rabies. That you need to watch out for them because they're going to give you rabies if they get close to you.
False. They are a carrier of rabies, but most mammals are.
Sure, yeah.
So they can get it. It's an animal that is a rabies vector species, but most of them that you will ever see out there are not rabid. And a lot of skunks that people think are rabid out there actually just have distemper. Or it's just a weird part of the year. It could be a mom that just gave birth and she just looks a little worn and ragged because she has a real big job she's doing. It could be an older skunk that's starting to lose fur, or just not doing well out there. Or it could be distemper, which is more likely to be the cause of if you see a skunk out there that you think is acting weird, going in circles, or approaching people, or just not doing the right thing. It could be rabies, but it's also more likely that it's actually distemper, which isn't great either, but it's not something fatal like rabies is to humans anyway. So
that makes sense.
And I'm sure that can be spread through domestic dogs that are unvaccinated, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, those are the three main myths that I found, so I'm glad that we could set the record straight here and hopefully teach some people out there, that some of our listeners, and I'm telling you, I just wish we were live streaming this, because if you just saw this animal, I promise you would love it.
Oh my goodness.
I do have some trivia for you all, though. Sammy and Sarah, if you guys are up for it. You're up to humor me, basically. So.
Oh wait, I have a question.
Yeah, oh, please. I didn't mean to
No. I
just
just thought of it. Like, what do the mothers do? You mentioned they have like a big job. How long do the kids usually stay with their mother? And
Usually for about 8 weeks.
okay.
Yeah, so they're in the den completely until the eyes are open, and then a couple days to a week after that, once their eyes, it takes a couple days for them to fully open, have clear vision. They're still a little wobbly at that age, so they might be like popping out of the den and then going back in. They don't really start coming out of the den completely until around 8 weeks old or so. And then they're with mom for a little bit longer than that, learning the ropes before they go off on their own. Skunks are solitary, so they all kind of disperse come fall time.
looking at him, there's no way he'd be ready to be alone in a couple weeks. He is too tiny.
I know.
I mean, I know he would grow differently if he were mother reared, and also like he's only 7 weeks. But so I didn't realize that. I would have guessed they stayed with him longer than that for I don't know why.
I would have thought a couple months. I would have thought like 4 or 5 months maybe. Yeah.
So they're off on their own pretty quickly then.
Yeah.
And we'll have to show you pictures of Lily's litter and the size that they were at his age. Because they look a little more prepared for the work than he does.
Okay, you can do trivia now.
Yeah, you guys ready for it? All right, I've got 3 questions for you today. So first question, Sammie, I think you mentioned it, but skunks can be found throughout North America and South America. How many skunk species are there across the Americas?
Okay, I know of 2.
Yep.
But I know there's another one, isn't there? I'm gonna say 3.
3? Jenna, you have a
6.
guess?
3.
6. There's actually 10.
Holy
Across. So in North America, there's 3, but then in South America, there's 7. Yeah,
Okay.
and then even I found one research paper that was even saying they're talking about breaking up, with some genetic research, they're talking about breaking up the striped skunk into multiple species, like an eastern and a western kind of thing, but you know how that goes. We've talked about this on the podcast before.
Yes.
Yeah, once you get into the genetic analysis, it
Over my head.
takes another turn. Sorry, next one I thought was interesting is what percentage of people are born without the ability to smell skunks?
Oh my god.
So there's
That's
like
a thing?
there's a chemical hormone in their spray that some humans just cannot smell. It's almost like, you know, like
Wow.
how some people are really averse to like cilantro, like randomly, like it's
uh-huh.
almost like that. Yeah.
I have never thought of that the opposite way. I've had people who say they seek the smell of skunk out. There's something in
like
them
they
that
enjoy
makes
it.
them want to smell
Okay.
it, and if they like smell a skunk, they will try to like
Interesting.
I know. I don't relate, but I've never thought of it the opposite way. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, percentage?
2%? No, that's too much.
2%?
0.5%.
0.5%,
Yeah.
okay. So you got to guess.
1%.
1%, Jenna?
0.
0. You guys,
Making it up.
Yeah, you made it up.
no, you guys are all on the right track though. It's such a small percent. It's actually 0.001%. So it's 1 out of every 1,000 people.
Oh my god.
Yeah, are born without the ability.
That still feels like a lot of people.
Yeah, to never hear.
Yeah.
That's wild.
All right, last question I have for you. A famous skunk out there named Pepe Le Pew was the inspiration for what famous pirate?
I only know of one pirate.
Captain Hook is the only pirate I
that's
know.
Okay,
all
okay.
that I should have thought of that. Jack Sparrow is all I can think
Yeah.
of.
Jack Sparrow's it. Yeah,
Okay.
apparently Johnny
Really?
Depp says when he was playing Jack Sparrow, his biggest inspiration was Pepe Le Pew.
What?
Yeah, I never would have put that together, but
There's got to be more information.
so I like
on
to
that.
think Skunks inspired Captain Jack Sparrow. That's what I'm
That's fascinating. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Before we get to the final question, I just want to give both you ladies a shout out because you've articulated and spoken perfectly throughout this podcast, and there is a baby skunk just playing in your hands the entire time. I've been distracted. I feel like I can barely speak today, so like props to you all.
Oh my
I've
god.
had 7 weeks of practice.
Yes.
You guys have only had a half hour.
Yes.
Starstruck over here.
Right.
Jenna, do we have
That's
anything else for our
amazing.
guests while we got them?
Well, did we miss anything before I ask the final
yeah.
question?
I just would want people to know that Marshmallow is, he got his first vaccine. So he is allowed to go out and about and he can meet guests now. It's just getting to see him and take pictures of him for now while he's still going through those vaccines. But people can keep an eye out. We will have him in hand when we're walking around the zoo.
That
Keep
is
an eye out
going
for
to be
sure.
a very
Keep an eye
fun
out,
surprise
yeah.
for people.
Yes, gotta see the little
I
snake.
have one too. What? The Art Academy of Cincinnati is working with us right now on a scholarship for Marshmallow.
What?
For a 4-year scholarship to go to their college. That's their mascot, is a skunk,
No
and they're
way.
called the Little Stinkers.
Little stinker scholarship.
So when they found out that we had Marshmallow, they were obsessed, and for the last couple months, they've been taking a stuffed animal skunk and like propping it up in pictures that they're taking for their flyers and social media and stuff like that. saying it's Marshmallow. And they came last week with a big sign that was his acceptance letter and his scholarship, and we accepted. And it's going to be like a 4-year kind of stint that we do with them of doing pen pal stuff back and forth with Marshy. So that's just a really cute,
amazing.
fun, local
Nice partnership.
thing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's falling asleep right
It's
now.
like
I
0
can't-
to 100.
Oh my gosh, I can't handle it. Wait, did I miss, can a human get this scholarship? Or this is for
Marshy
pretend
specifically.
he can
It
go to
is-
college
yes.
there someday.
Yep.
Marshmallow's on a full ride. Marshmallow's on a full
It
ride.
was a full ride.
A full ride little
Scholarship.
stinker scholarship.
The first 90% of that, I thought actually like they were going to give a scholarship away to people, and it would be like in honor of him.
I mean, I love that.
Right. That would
Glad I
be real
clarified.
nice.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that on air. Oh my gosh. Well, that's adorable, and he's adorable. So we just have our final question left. What can I do? How can I be a better steward of the earth?
Well, we wanted this to kind of be tailored to Marshy and our skunks and our native wildlife here. So we want to just talk about wildlife rehab centers and what to do if you find a wild animal and you don't know what to do. So there's a couple wildlife rehab centers that are in the Cincinnati area. We actually have a decent amount in the state of Ohio too, and across the United States. But there are like 3 or 4 wildlife centers in the Cincinnati area. One of the best ways to find their contact info is if you just Google ODNR, and that will bring you to a page on their website where you can type in wildlife rehab centers, and there will pop up a long list of every single place where they are located, what their phone numbers are, who the contact people are, and what animals they take in, because not every wildlife center takes in the same types of animals. And you can find help through that website. So there's a couple around here, Raptor Inc., Second Chance Wildlife, West Wildlife, that you can find their phone numbers and give them a call for help with wildlife situations. Even if you have a skunk in your backyard and you don't want it to be there for some crazy reason, they have great advice too on how to kind of keep your yard a safe area for your pets, and things that you can do to prepare yourself for going outside or your pets for going outside without having to have bad interactions with wildlife. So they're just a great resource in general to call for just advice, but also if you find an injured or orphaned animal, to be able to get it to them, because you do need permits in order to do that, and a lot of people don't always know that, or take them in and aren't taking care of them correctly, and then you get a hold of a wildlife center 2 weeks or a month after you've had that animal, but unfortunately sometimes too much damage has been done in that time, and they're not always savable then. So wildlife centers are usually nonprofits, usually volunteer run. So even just donating that way is a really great way to help out your local centers, and a lot are always looking for volunteers too.
It's a labor of love,
It
for
is,
sure.
yeah.
And we often get people meeting our lovely skunks who say that they want one as a pet, and that is one of the things with especially our native wildlife that we kind of have to toe the line. We want people to attach and connect with them, and be moved enough to care to not harm them without convincing them to have them as pets. It's a big thing with our skunks and our red fox. People often will say, I want one now. So we do try to talk people through all of the reasons they do not make great pets. So we want people to appreciate them without thinking that they need to bring them into their home.
There's a good chance you could see Marshmallow with something look. Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
Just look up and
You could find a little skunk like Marshmallow and want to keep it as a pet. And well, gosh, looking at him, I'm not a very good advocate. You would not. You would want to keep him. You would want to keep him. Let's be real. But you should not. And as Sarah mentioned, we want people to fall in love with them, but recognize that they are wild animals. And as Sammie mentioned, if you for some reason found one that you don't think should be on its own, or it seems to be suffering in some way, definitely find a professional, find a wildlife rehab center that can take it in and do what's best for the skunk, even though you might think it would be best in your bed, but it won't be.
People usually think of them as the cute babies and forget that they grow up to be adult animals, and they're not cute babies anymore. So you got to think about not the animal that you're seeing right now, but the animal a year down the road and what they'll be. And it's not going to be this cute 200-gram baby. It's going to be an adult skunk.
A little more destructive. They like
Yes,
digging. They like
yes.
tearing stuff apart.
Yes, we're very glad they do not live in our houses with us,
Yes.
and that we can come to work and see them, but I would not want them in my house.
No.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for spending the time
Yeah, of
talking to
course.
us, educating the people, educating us, debunking some of these myths, and telling people that there's no need to be afraid. There's no need to be grossed out or anything by skunks. You've done an incredible job raising this angel right in front of us.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you for bringing him and putting up
Yes.
with our distracted minds.
We're so happy to.
Now we need him to wake up so we can get a picture of him with the
Yes.
microphone.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Thanks for
sounds great.
listening, everyone. We hope you have a great week.
Yes, and try and come by the zoo. Maybe if you're lucky enough, you might even get to see Marshmallow out there. So thanks for tuning in.